Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly, what am I going to be today? I'm going to be your friendly Dabo Master, I guess, because today we are going to be playing another session of a Star Trek role-playing game. We had scheduled originally our Mythic Britain campaign, but it's Easter weekend at the time of recording, so some folks weren't available. So we are returning to the Star Trek: The Next Generation game that was published by Last Unicorn Games, one of three RPGs in the Star Trek universe that were published by Last Unicorn Games before they went defunct. And with me to play this adventure, I should say also, we are making use of an adventure out of the Planetary Adventures sourcebook. The adventure for today is called On the Edge of Night. And if you are intending on playing that adventure from a product that is only available in physical copies that you cannot find, this session will contain, or that is challenging to find, this session will contain spoilers for that adventure. If you don't care about that, let me introduce you to the crew of the crew who will be featured in today's session. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got James.
I'm James. I'm playing Lieutenant Shran, the tactical officer, who is all ready in case there's a ship battle that comes up. He's fully equipped.
We played this, Darren, a week ago in support of the line developer for this game and for one of the other games. He's been having a lot of health issues lately, and we ran last week a session in support of him. There's actually, and for those listening at home, if you are interested in learning more about his current circumstances and potentially supporting him or helping him out in his time of need, there's a link down below to that. But we went through the full history of sort of Star Trek games when we went through this and our respective involvements with Star Trek RPGs. So first off, Darren, why don't you tell us who you're playing today, and then tell us what your experience is with Star Trek RPGs.
Okay, yeah, I'm playing Dr. Adus Derricks, who is a Betazoid. Doctor, obviously.
I genuinely miss an opportunity to try and make a cognate of Adam Ersprung. Really kicking myself for that now.
So, yeah, experience with Star Trek. I remember seeing the old original Star Trek RPG. What was that one called? One? Yeah, I think so. I don't think I ever played it. I think I was in a group where someone owned it. So the only sort of experience of any sort of Star Trek thing, it was with the really fiddly Star Trek battles, sort of little, well, not miniatures, counters. Yeah. With the
grid sheets.
God, that was involved, but it was good fun. But it was involved, and it took a long time. I remember trying to play it down the club, and as always, it's, let's not just play one ship against one ship. Let's get like 10 on each side, and a few hours later, you've done one turn or something. The usual. Sort of
my longest running, so the BattleTech was my equivalent of the tabletop things, and my longest BattleTech session was a 16-hour session when we were adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Well, obviously, me and my brother, being in the UK, we did Warhammer back in the day. Yeah. And we used to spend like 3 or 4 hours setting up these massive armies that we'd collected to play for about an hour, and then have to put it all away again because my mum needed the kitchen back, so we'd taken over the entire floor or something, So,
awesome.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least is Ingolf.
Hi, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Gorwak, who is the operations manager and a Bolian.
Very nice. So what we're assuming is that this is taking place, our last session, for context, Darren, was set during the Starfleet Academy days. So our heroes were playing characters still in the Starfleet Academy. Ross Isaacs, the line designer, he also wrote the Starfleet Academy box set. So we played an adventure out of that. Seeing the characters we played last time as well were much less they did not have nearly as many skills as what the full starting characters did. So we were talking afterwards about what what it might be like to play full-fledged characters, and then when we had a gap in our schedule, James is the one who jumped on the opportunity to say, let's play this again, but with full Starfleet officers. So this will be our first time playing this with Starfleet officers. For those who may be curious at home as well, we are using Roll20 for this, and there is a Roll20 sheet for the last Unicorn games, Star Trek games. You can use it for all three of them. It has a couple of peculiarities about it that you'll just have to work around, like the inability to change the requisite stat for your skill checks, unless it's the very bottom one, but it's all stuff you can work around. Also, the reason none of you guys have specialties for unarmed combat is because you simply can't access that slot. I can't add any specialties in on that, so I've set the level of your unarmed combat skills, which may not come up today, but I've set it to your specialty, so we don't need, that's the only one that doesn't need to be adjusted afterwards. So, guys, let's meet our ship then, because like any good Star Trek series, we do need to have a hero ship. And our hero ship is the USS Agamemnon, a Miranda-class vessel, which at this time is a very old design. It is not being manufactured or assembled any longer, but they are still out there doing their part to serve some roles in Starfleet. It also happens to be James's favorite class of ship, so I am happy to accommodate with that. Although it is funny because I did end up changing. There was one adventure I was going to run, and then when I got to prepping things, I was like, there is a Starship combat component to this, and I'm pretty sure that you would be like, it would be the fate of the Reliant all over again. But this one actually I think is a more fun adventure anyway. What we're assuming is that you guys are, you're not necessarily like the captain or first officer of the ship, but you guys are command crew. So you guys have reached the point where you're serving on this. It is not a like flagship or top of the line vessel. You're filling a necessary role, within the overall fleet itself. And where our session opens is to find you guys en route to meet up with a Oberth class vessel called the Tenebrae. Let me show you. I think some of you guys will know what the Oberth looks like, but
so a ship actually weaker than the Miranda. Good.
Yeah. There we go. I think its engines may be more advanced though. This is the Oberth class. If you're familiar with Star Trek 3, it's the Grissom was the Oberth class vessel. Where you were headed is a relatively simple task. It is to rendezvous with them and to make sure nothing goes wrong while they observe a stellar event. Where the Tenebrae has been located is in a place called the Mar Oscura. Mar Oscura is a dark nebula that happened to be featured in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation when the Enterprise D was mapping it using photonic torpedoes to kind of map out the subspace disruptions in the nebula. The Mar Oscura is a dark matter nebula on the edge of Federation space. It is irregularly shaped and more than 90 light years in diameter. The reason that for one, because it's such an unusual bit of stellar geography, and that's reason enough for a scientific based vessel to be studying it. There's also something unusual where they are studying a neutron star that appears to be on the verge of collapse. There are some other unusual things about it, but it will be the first time that one of the Starfleet vessels will be able to study it. Knowing that it is a first time and knowing that things can be unpredictable, you have been called in to assist, to make sure that they can safely watch, and if anything does go wrong, you will be able to take care of that. I think, so here's one thing I'm open to answers for. I don't know what you call a doctor who's not the chief medical officer on board of Starship. I think it's doctor, because like Dr. Mbenga and Dr. McCoy were both called doctor on the ship, but there's not any other usage of ranks. What's underappreciated?
That's what you call a doctor who's not called the ship's doctor.
So I'm assuming you're just doctor, but you are not like the chief medical officer on the Agamemnon.
Isn't doctor just a title and not a rank?
No, it's not, because you do have apparently you have a rank as well within it. So, because you need to be able to distinguish between the chief medical officer and other physicians who are on board.
Yeah, okay. So the doctor doesn't need to be a doctor, which is weird. Yeah, okay.
No, the doctor does need to be a doctor, but distinguishing between doctors is where the rub lies here. Is I don't know whether there is a specific designation. Dr. Crusher is only ever referred to as Dr. Crusher, other than referencing her as the chief medical officer. Same thing with McCoy and Mbenga in the Strange New Worlds era. But in any event, you guys are sort of all... You would be the sort of... the equivalent of the, first season Geordi LaForge's, first season Worf, first season Data. Although I think he's a lieutenant commander in the first season. Golwalk, you are on operations. Shran, you are tactical officer. And Doctor, you are, if not the chief medical officer, you are the second most senior medical officer on board. There's likely to be no need for necessarily your specialty, Doctor, and nor for yours, for that matter, Lieutenant Shran. But Lieutenant Golwalk, monitoring the sensors, monitoring the tractor beams, things like that, that's going to be a fairly important part of overseeing the safety of the Tenebrae. Let's just take a moment and get to know our crew members. So you are in your first day of travel of what's to be a 3-day travel at Warp 7 to reach the edge of the Mara Oscura and contact with the Tenebrae. Tenebrae has Captain Cynthia Pitt in command, incidentally. We see as sort of our establishing stuff. It could be you at the station that might give us some insight into what you're like on duty or how you interact with the other crew members. It might be you in your downtime. It might be a pet project or a thing of personal interest for you. What do you think, guys?
And I think Shran will be at his tactical stations, making sure for the 43rd time that everything is just tip-top, because we're going into potentially action, so there will be no screw-ups.
Okay. So you are running systems diagnoses over and over again. It was a careful use of the weapon systems that did enable the Enterprise D to escape the issues they had with the Mara Oscura last time. So probably a wise preparation. Doctor, Lieutenant Golwalk, what do you guys think?
Yeah. I think I'm really excited about seeing this because I'm actually a kind of an astronomist. So I think that would be nice and a rich experience to see that. and I envy the people on the Tenebrae for their job in a way.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't show. I mean, not really, only a bit.
Okay.
So, but yeah, maybe it is good to just read the old logs maybe and see how they did it, just in case that we need to use that again. I think they tried it 2 or 3 times before it worked, or it was it was more involved than just phases. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, come on.
Okay. Give me a second here. And how about you, Doctor?
Betazoids, they're the ones that they got sort of telepathy or something, have they? Or some sort
of... full Betazoids like yourself have telepathy and full telepathy and half, like, or mixed race Betazoids have whatchamacallit, empathy. So yeah, you got both projective and receptive telepathy.
Yeah, I mean, is that something actually in the game, or do they sort of?
Yeah, no, it's in the game. You got your skills projective. You got a stat, and a psi, and then you've got skills that are projective telepathy and receptive telepathy.
Okay, I think it'd be just sort of generally reading the crew, just checking up on the newbies, as it were, or any new members of the crew, just checking that they're not scared or, you know. You
mean like just reading their minds, or do you mean checking in, like talking to them?
No, sort of checking, talking, socializing, but if he gets any hint of, look a bit panicky or something, just sort of, checking them out, really. Okay. So just making sure everyone's in tip-top.
You're free to choose how you want to play. Betazoids typically, unless they have the consent of someone, they typically don't.
So I mean, it's sort of, you don't seem to be dealing with this situation too well. You know, do you want to have a talk about it? And then you just settling nerves and things and making sure there's no problems.
Well, I think you've got quite a respectable charm skill too, don't you?
Yeah, he's trying to keep in with the whole crew and be the friendly guy that everyone wants to go to talk to if there's a problem.
Probably the favorite doctor for everyone to see as well. Your captain is Captain Kalamak. And she, this is a small vessel. Any of you guys wish to be the first officer?
Yeah, I think it should be Shran, otherwise I would always get complaints.
All right, so Lieutenant Shran, you are also serving as first officer. Typically, you need to be commander, or, well, at least, I don't even know if there's a gating of it, but for the purpose of this vessel, we'll say, like, for whatever reason, you guys are in between officers, or you're, not a priority vessel to get someone on. You are, if not permanent, acting first officer for the purpose of our mission. So, what we would have is, this is, to be honest, it is a very uninspired, or at least a unexciting, or not exciting mission. This is something to watch other people do some very exciting things. It is 2 days en route while Golwak and Shran are on the bridge. And do you have training in, do either of you guys have training in communications?
I'm sure a lieutenant as capable as me will be.
Communication, so communicator doesn't work, I suppose.
No. Communicator is a device.
Yeah. No, I have no comm skill, only computer, but yeah.
Okay, that's fine. What we'll do then, just get to the skills. There we go. All right, communications. See, you know what? It is a shipboard systems skill with the communication specialty. Is what Adventure is trying to say.
Shipboard systems I have, and I'm actually really good at it.
Why don't you give us a shipboard systems check there, please, Golwalk? A fucking great roll. Wow. All right. Did you roll 6 on your drama die? No. Okay.
Nope.
So it is the second day of travel. It's going to be 3-day travel for like I said, at Warp 7 to reach the edge of the Mare Oscura. When there is a weak signal that is coming in, Lieutenant, and it's coming from the Tenebrae.
No.
You are able to boost it with that roll. You're able to, your hands fly across the console, and you're able to boost it sufficient that there's going to be a message coming through, but it is full of static.
Yeah, incoming message from Tenebrae, full of static. I'm doing my very best.
Captain Kalamax says, on screen, Lieutenant.
Yep.
So you put it on screen, and there is an enormous amount of... it's that sort of like, rolling, TV thing we see in Next Generation sometimes where, like, they haven't quite tuned the channel properly.
Yeah.
And let me show you who is on screen here. Why don't you guys each give us a administration roll? If you got specialization in Federation bureaucracy, then you can use that specialization.
So, and how do I use specialization? It's +2, yeah?
We just add, it just adds +1 to whatever the result is.
Okay, so then I have an 8.
An 8, okay. Oh, 8 on the drama, 9 on the other, right?
Yeah, 9, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And, Doctor, do you have administration?
I haven't got that.
Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, you're in the, I guess, sick bay anyway.
Yeah, I didn't think I was there, so...
Then, Starfleet, yeah, I'm going to give you a 6. So I think comes through someone who is wearing the insignia of a captain, and Golwalk, you would recognize it as Captain Cynthia Pitt, the captain of the Tenebrae. Mm-hmm. And the message comes through with a great deal of static, and she briefly is able to say that the ship has suffered a sudden and massive power loss. And she is calling, she knows that the Agamemnon is coming. Agamemnon, we need assistance immediately. Please excel. And before she can say anything further, the message is gone. And you try all you can with your shipboard systems check there, Golwalk, to pick it up. It's not a matter that the signal is disrupted. It's that it has dissipated altogether. Mm-hmm. What do you guys do? Captain says, Lieutenant, can you get that signal back?
It's lost. I don't know. Can I try to, I don't know, some kind of I don't know, some kind of reconfiguration of something and try to
you could
get a filter?
If you want to use, do you have space sciences, or does anyone have space sciences?
Yes, I have space sciences with specialization.
You can give us a space sciences
astronomy.
check. Yeah, yeah, astronomy would apply. It's a nebula and near a neutron star, so there may be something you may be able to determine from that.
Okay.
So give us a space sciences check, and you will be able to apply your.
Yeah. So
specialty.
then it is a 7.
It's a 7, okay. 7 is. 7 is a moderate skill check.
Is this a botch, by the way? Because I rolled all ones on the roll.
Oh,
No, you rolled a 5 on the drama die.
Okay, so it has to be on the drama die as well.
Has to be all ones, yeah, like all together, all ones. But yeah, good question though. All right, so what you see... Oh, and incidentally, we were talking about dramatic successes last time. Dramatic success is when you beat the target number by 6. So that's a reason that like you want to have good skill and you want when you roll quite high, or if you want to spend courage. What you can tell Lieutenant Goldwalk, as far as like ruling out issues, the way that it cut off did not seem like it was increased static or increased disruption from what you've read about the Mara Oscura or about the properties of neutron stars.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever has gone wrong here, this is it is something as if the cord was snipped.
Yeah.
That's my first Star Trek metaphor in this game, guys. Can you make a sciencey thing sound really fucking stupid and simple? Yes, I can.
So I could trace the signal back. So it seems like the signal itself was lost at the origin. So I don't know why, but the ship is not sending anymore.
All right, then command crew, and I think the Doctor, you are currently on. You're not necessarily like you don't have the rank to be running a medical thing. I think the chief medical officer is currently on detachment. He or she or they are at a medical conference, leaving you in charge. So you're the most senior medical officer on board this modest vessel. Then Captain Katamak says, senior crew to my ready room, and hits the kind of little button thing or her comm badge. Doctor, would you join us in the captain's ready room, please?
Right away, Captain.
Okay. So we don't know who the science officer is. We don't know who the comms officer is. Doesn't really matter. Don't know who the con officer is. Doesn't matter for the purpose of today's session. So one of the things I find is a challenge with the Star Trek games in general is figuring out why we're only focusing on these specific characters. If you do want to draw on any of the other crew members, though, for one, we can just add them like we do in Star Trek Adventures. And two, we already know what their skills are going to be, because it's either going to be typically it's going to be 3 in their stat, 4 in their skill. So if you need to draw on someone who is trained in a skill that you guys don't have, you can draw on the rest of the crew for that. So when Doctor, you arrive, they've gone through what, or at least our crew members have shared what they know thus far. Lieutenant Goldwalk, because you were the one who was looking into the particulars of the Mara Oscura and the neutron star itself, the neutron star is identified as FGC-27, and it was originally difficult to detect due to the dark matter clouds surrounding it, but it is an extremely small and dense star with twice the mass of Sol, but only 7 miles in radius. It emits occasional bursts of neutronium particles at random intervals, and over the last year, FGC-27's activity has increased, which the Tenebrae science officer believed signaled the imminent collapse of the neutron star. That's the reason that they've stuck around for as long as they have. The Tenebrae's most recent analysis of FGC-27 estimated that it would die in 6 days at precisely 1311 hours Earth Standard Time, and Starfleet ordered the Agamemnon to rendezvous to ensure safety during the star's collapse, while the crew of the Tenebrae continue sensing whatever is going on with and taking readings from the collapse. what the captain, now that you were arrived, asks, then, what should we expect? And what can we do?
Okay. Was there something in the old logs about energy drain on the starship?
Nothing that you found thus far, no.
Okay. So, seems to be a new phenomenon that was not reported before. Maybe unnatural courses.
Is there anything that could have accelerated the breakdown of the star and the collapse of the star?
Golwalk, you could give us a planetary sciences check. You're going to get some information on this, but
Planetary science.
sorry, space sciences, astronomy again, please.
Okay.
Good roll.
It's an 8.
8. In theory, yeah, Golwalk. If something was introduced into it, typically you rely on passive scans in order to monitor the stuff for fear that by observing it, you're going to somehow affect it. But as far as the drain on, shields or power sources for the Tenebrae, that's not likely. And if the neutron star had finally collapsed, they would not have time to, for one, they wouldn't have time really probably to react if they were to be affected by it. And the message didn't make any reference to the neutron star.
Is this neutral space that this is?
Do you mean like on the verge of the neutral zone, or on the?
Yeah, I mean, is it any? Is it Federation space, or is it like a neutral?
At the edge of Federation space, but not on the border of any other known space polity.
Okay.
So maybe unexpected, but probably not a hostile act, sadly.
How far are we away from that ship?
2 days travel still.
Okay.
Which would leave it 3 days off from the neutron star collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
At warp 7, we are traveling at a respectable clip in this. We could accelerate up to warp 9, but it will require straining the engines.
I think we should do that. That would be my recommendations.
Yeah. If they lose energy and can't send signals anymore, it seems to be reasonable to assume that the energy for the life support might be at risk as well.
As far as a tactical assessment is concerned, Lieutenant, one concern over pushing the engines is if the engines are in some way compromised by sprinting, as it were, to the final destination, the Enterprise D, their encounter with the... I was going to say Enterprise, so you guys will know which one I'm talking about, but the Enterprise's encounter with the Maraskura required careful navigation. And if it's just the engines are affected, being able to navigate, that is a calculated risk.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't go full speed then, because we might need very finicky navigation when we arrive there.
Let me tell you what the difficulty is.
Yes.
Then you guys can assess whether...
I was going to say, could we compromise on warp 8? Potentially.
You can. So the difference between them is about like warp 8 would be traveling at about A third. So, to give examples, warp 7 from Earth to a nearby star, travel 5 light years takes 3 days. At warp 9, that's 1 day. At warp 8, that's 2 days. So basically, by traveling at warp 8, you won't be compromising the engines, potentially compromising the engines. It's not going to be a hard... I don't think it's a hard check. Let me just double check what it is. But that would basically shave... Let's think here. So, 2... Oh, God. I'm about to have a stroke by trying to do math. James, surely you've got a spreadsheet. What would... if the current one is current speed is 1 day, or 5 light years per 1 day, and instead you guys would be traveling at 2 or 10 light years per day. How does that compare to 30 light years per day? Hold on, I think I can do that myself.
Sorry, say that one again.
So
yeah, what's the speed?
So you're currently
difference?
traveling at warp 7, which means it's got to be 15 light years you're traveling, because that's how much you travel in a day, right? Or is that?
I think it just
No, it's the
matter.
reverse. It's third. So yeah.
You might rule something, and we do the math afterwards.
Yeah.
But what was your benchmark of 7? Was how many days?
If you were traveling at, I think I got an easier way to work this out in my head. If you were traveling at, it's 3 days travel at warp 7, which means it's going to be 5 light years.
So it's 2/3 of it, so 16 hours.
So 5 light years in 24 hours, and then so it would. That's the full travel. Well,
if I understand it, it's 8 compared with 7 is 2/3 of the time, so that's 16 hours if it was 24.
Yes, there we go. Okay, thank you. Whew. Stroke averted. All right, now let me see what the difficulty is.
So, Doctor, how are you at warp engine management?
Sorry, what was that? Engines, did you say?
Vroom machines.
Oh, those things on the outside with the glowy bits.
The glowy bits on the...
the glowy bits,
on the pylons, yeah.
Not had a lot of experience with the glowy bits.
What I think we can assume is it'll be your engineer, so 3 dice with a skill of 4 would make that roll, unless someone else has the... Let's see here.
Don't we leave that to Scotty normally? Don't he deal with them sort of things?
Yeah.
So the first one's the funky die then.
Okay.
So 10.
10 is good enough, though. Okay. Well, before we commit to that, then, is any other information that you want to share with the captain or discuss with the captain?
Yeah, the only question is how far, how close do we want to go with the full ship? If there is a possibility that our ship will be drained as well, might be sensible to send in a shuttle first or so, or something smaller.
I'm always willing to fly a shuttlecraft. I volunteer, sir.
So why don't Golbach give us another space sciences astronomy check? That skill's getting a lot of screen time.
Yeah. That is one of my favorites. So it's 8 again.
8 again.
Yeah.
So here's some things to consider. Is the based on the information that the Enterprise obtained, the Tenebrae likely is inside the nebula. However, traveling at warp in the nebula is going to be quick, but it will And your ship, while it's in the subspace bubble, will not be affected by the subspace gaps that are in there. However, it will effectively tear open further gaps, which may accelerate the collapse of the neutron star. So you may come rushing up and then cause the acceleration of the neutron star if the Tenebrae is not at a safe distance from it. Which is to say, you're probably going to want to come out of warp at the edge of the Mare Oscura as close as you can be to where the last known transmission was, and then detect where you're going. The other thing, further to what Shran had mentioned, is the size of the vessel is going to be a real consideration here. The Enterprise was a Galaxy-class vessel. It's a lot harder to move that around to avoid the subspace gaps than a smaller vessel like the Oberth class. The Miranda is a size 5 class, so the Agamemnon itself is size 5. The Oberon, sorry, the Oberon, the Tenebrae is, here we go. Size 3. And by contrast, the Galaxy is size 8. So you're going to have the Agamemnon would have an easier time maneuvering through theirs, but it's going to be a shuttlecraft, while slower and would have a smaller crew, would be a hell of a lot easier. Mechanically, there's going to be flight control checks to be able to navigate within there. And basically every size above 1 adds +1 to the target number of those checks, which is why it was so hard to navigate the Galaxy class through there, +7 to difficulties. The Oberth is only +2. You guys would be +4.
Well, Lieutenant Shran is feeling very happy that he was confident in his shuttlecraft flying for this session.
Good. Then, what do you propose then? What do you propose as a course of action once we reach the Mare Oscura?
So, as Golwak said, we come out a bit early and switch to shuttlecraft.
Should we not determine the status of the Tenebrae first?
Oh, eager to get on there, Captain. Sorry. You're quite right.
She smiles at you and says, your enthusiasm is appreciated, Shran, but one thing before the other. We have a saying on our planet. You look before you leap.
It's viewed as dishonorable in Andoria, I'm sorry. But, as you wish.
I think the engineer says, don't you have a bunch of crevasses on your planet?
We just leap.
In this case, says the captain, perhaps we will forego the Andorian approach in favor of the Terran. Then, crew dismissed. And that will cut your travel time down by... So if you guys... so I'm clear, are you pushing it or not?
So I think so. If we are going for warp 9 outside, it will be no problem.
Warp 9 will get you there in like 6 hours, as opposed to the remaining. What is it? Well, whatever however many hours. Well, it's 36 hours. So it's 36 hours was the total travel time. 24 hours left to go. If you go warp 9, you get there in 8. If you warp.
Yeah, it'd be 8 hours at warp 9.
8 hours at warp 9.
At
There you go. And 16 hours.
Yeah, I think if we can make this safely and just I don't know, calculate a little bit more puffer so that maybe this this Ma Oscura has maybe grown. It might have. So just check that we are stopping early enough. It will work at warp 9.
Okay, that's an interesting thing. Golwalk. Like there's nothing you've read suggests that the collapse of the star is going to in any way impact the.
Oh yeah,
thing.
I was just.
But the subspace, those subspace rifts, that would block transmission. So if suddenly the neutron star itself was surrounded by them, which made it difficult to detect it, if it did somehow expand, it would serve as like a screen. It's like putting a hand in front of a beam of light. It was full of Star Trek analogies today. This is amazing. I feel like I'm really earning my paycheck as the Dabo Master. Any other information that Captain Kalamak should have?
Is there any sort of radiation or anything coming off of this star? Anything that could affect the crew in a health way?
Good question. Why don't you give us a... Let's see here. I'm trying to keep the skill list open because there's a lot. Do you have a skill that you think in mind that you might use for that?
I've got shipboard systems, medical systems, and obviously first aid, but...
Okay.
Medical science.
Medical science, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any specialty with that?
General surgical.
Love it. Okay, so general, is that a 6? Okay.
No.
All right, I think general would apply here. So that's an 8. Obviously, like having, a raw exposure to whatever strange radiation is coming from the neutron star, that obviously would not be something you would want to have
I think I would just do some general looking into the star that they were looking at, in case any of that, because of the power loss, any systems breaking down or, anything leaking through, any sort of defenses against such things.
Yeah.
So, I'll just come up with any sort of antidote potentially or a procedure for dealing with anyone that's been exposed to any sort of radiation. I'll just look into it just as a precaution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically.
No, that's so. There's we'll assume that there's you'll get some kind of bonus in the event that the crew of the Agamemnon is exposed to any kind of radiation. Great. Anything else, guys? Captain Kalamak says, "Excellent, Doctor. See to it." Lieutenant Shran. Well, we are going to look before we leave.
Is there anything I can do to on the shuttlecraft? To your point, Doctor, and also Golvak, is there anything we can do that we need to do in terms of extra shielding or preparation there?
It's a good point. What do you think, Golvak?
It might be possible. I don't know, but I think it is probably useful because there's some kind of background thing in the subspace or so that we calibrate the shields to that.
What you could do, is like modulating shields is one thing you can do. Like even in combat, you can modulate shields to try and strengthen against certain, frequencies of attack, whether it's from Klingon disruptors or, Romulan plasma weapons or Borg beams. What you might be able to do is calibrate the shields. If you're not worried about an attack, calibrate the shields to be more of a buffer in the event that you hit those subspace gaps.
Absolutely.
Seems good, yeah.
Okay. So do you guys remember how Aid Another
So there is combined tests, and because I have synergy, I suggest that we do a combined test.
Yeah, that's right. Lieutenant Galwak, when assists, instead of adding +1, adds +2 per person involved. So, where is it here?
So we need to involve the doctor as well.
You could rope in an ensign or the chief engineer. Well, the chief engineer is going to be keeping an eye on the engines. Combined test. Here we go. Everyone makes a test with the same skill. The best test result is used as the base, and each additional successful test adds +1. That's pretty cool. So you don't have to pick, like, you know, one person who gets fucked with a bad dice result, and then everyone else is trying to sort of help out with that. That's cool. All right, so it'll be Golwalk and Shran, and it's shipboard systems. Is that what it is? Hold up. Where's the systems engineering?
I mean, I think Shran is with me that this is a vehicle operation shuttlecraft. Definitely.
No, because it's you're trying to modulate the shields.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
I think Shran would like that.
Shran would definitely like that. So I think it's systems engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Let me double check here. For the sake of, I know, like, for the purpose of the one shot, doesn't matter, but I'm curious what skills kind of fill what roles in the game. I'm just going to, because I know where to find that. Systems engineering weapons is what it is. So if anyone, if you have that specialty, otherwise just roll a systems engineering check for the two of you, and then Doctor, why don't you give us a? They're going to rope an ensign into this, so why don't you give us a 2d6 plus 4. We are playing the next generation era, so you guys are saddled with a Wesley. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was good.
Wesley got an 8, though.
10.
Okay.
Oh.
And then Shran and Golwalk, we need systems engineering from each of you, please.
I don't have any.
It's a 7.
You don't have systems engineering at all?
No.
Okay, so let's give us an intellect check then, please.
Intellect check. Here we go.
Okay, 5. All right. Then your best result is actually the Wesley. That's an 8 from Wesley, a 6 or 7 from Golwalk. All right, so Golwalk will add +2 to that, so that's a 10, which is what you need. So, tell us what do we see as the Lieutenant Golwalk and Lieutenant Shran are going to work on this shuttlecraft.
Oh, much crawling underneath modules and some Andorian swear words as it doesn't quite go to work.
Okay.
And then, success!
Yeah.
There we have it. Beautiful, Golwag, beautiful.
Yeah. I think we, the ensign and me, we recreate this NCIS scene where two people are typing on the keyboard. Basically, we're just calibrating the sensors on the same pad or so.
Okay. All right. So well done by the crew. And Doctor, you've been preparing the med bay and those countermeasures to the radiation. The 16 hours passes relatively quickly. You managed to get some sleep, and you guys are back on the bridge, other than the Doctor, when you drop out of warp on the edge of the Mar Oscura.
Mm-hmm.
When you arrive, Golwalk, you pick up a transmission from a navigation buoy warning you that the Dark Matter Nebula is a Class 3 navigation hazard. And you are able to use a sensors. You've got systems operation sensors, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Would you give us a systems op check, please?
System operations, there is not. It is called systems engineering sensor system, but that is not what you're looking for.
Oh, shipboard systems is what I'm looking for, please.
There's only one skill called system, and that is system engineering. Nope. And then there's
a skill called shipboard systems.
Shipboard systems. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this one.
Okay. So, it takes a moment to activate. Well, first off, let me show you what the Marascura looks like. The stars are blacked out by the swirling void of the Marascura on the view screen. And I think Captain Kalamak will ask Lieutenant Golwak the Tenebrae, and you are able to detect it. It is quite far into the nebula. It has no power.
Okay.
If you were to use a shuttlecraft, if you guys are staying with that approach, a shuttlecraft traveling at quarter impulse will take 6 hours to reach the ship where it is, and traveling at half impulse, it's cut down to 3, but it will increase the difficulty of navigating by 1.
Now, the issue seems to be we want to either start the engines again, but how, or we need to try and pull the Tenebrae out.
To pull the Tenebrae out would require tractor beam, like is what's on the Agamemnon. The shuttlecraft won't have a. If it does have a tractor beam, it's not going to be powerful enough to pull it out. But navigating the Agamemnon is larger than the Tenebrae, but not so much larger that it is going to easily snag it and drag it along like it's a shuttlecraft. The comparative length, the Agamemnon is 278 meters long, and the Tenebrae 160 meters long.
Yeah. I was hoping that we could somehow restart the energy, or just, I don't know, redirect energy from the shuttle to the ship, so that we could. I mean, it seems to be an energy problem, not that the systems are malfunctioning, at least I hope, and the Tenebrae.
The sensors are not able to. So with that roll, that is not good enough to detect whether there are life signs still present. But if you want to spend 4 courage, you don't have 4.
Yeah, I only have 3. So.
Okay. But once you're in closer with the shuttlecraft, you'll also have an opportunity. So you could try and get in a little closer and then sense it, but it is a fucking mess. The subspace gaps, from what you can detect right now, Golwak, it was challenging for the Enterprise to get out. They seem to be shifting, whether that's in response to the neutron star collapsing, whether something else happened to cause that. It's unclear.
Okay. So I would say that it seems like the subspace gaps are shifting within this Mare Obscurum. So it is quite harder to navigate at this moment than it used to be.
The Tenebrae should have a crew of around 80 as well.
Yeah.
Just to judge from how many people are there. Lieutenant Schran, so you guys have arrived here because of the traveling at Warp 9. You're here like with 3.5 days, give or take, before the neutron star collapses. So you have a decent amount of time to work with here. 6 hours to reach there at 1/4 impulse, 3 hours at half impulse. Lieutenant Schran, do you think you can get in and get out with 6 hours at half impulse? That would give us time to get in, get a scan, determine the condition of the crew, and make an assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She hits her comm badge. Doctor, are you ready for a field trip?
I'm ready as ever, Captain. I shall be there immediately.
You could meet Lieutenant Gulwak and Lieutenant Schran in the shuttle bay. They can bring you up to speed on what we are planning. Come back out. Then, anything further you can tell me about the status of the Tenebrae? Lieutenant?
Right now, no. I can try to check more if we get closer with the shuttle and send this information back to the ship.
Very good. Now, communications. Lieutenant, are you detecting anything that is interfering or would interfere with our ability to communicate?
If I understood the things correctly, these gaps would be able to interfere and they are shifting, so we always have the possibility that communication might be disturbed for a moment.
Then what do you propose to do to account for that? Lieutenant Schran?
Can we
You'll be behind the
modulate
wheel.
the communication systems?
Not sure that modulating would necessarily... Oh, potentially.
Or
But if it's
boosting it?
subspace-
Let's see if we get some more power into it.
Yeah,
Very good.
or we could just send some buoys maybe, so that we can evade the gaps.
And
Or just doing a relay thing.
that could work. Yeah, like, as far as what Gulwak, that absolutely could work. If you want to set buoys on the way out, that also may assist with navigation, knowing where, things are. Do you think you could reconfigure probes to keep active scans then, Gulwak?
Yeah, I'd try.
Good. Then you have your orders, crew. So, what do you want to do before you set out then? There will be probes that you'll be able to access, and it'll just be, I think, a bit of recalibrating, but nothing. Unless you're planning on making the probes do something that they don't typically do, then, I think you're good to just reset the calibrations to what you want, and they'll be ready to be deployed as you go in.
Cool.
All right. Then, making your way to the shuttlecraft. Do we have a name for our shuttlecraft? Each vessel tends to have a naming convention for the shuttlecraft that they carry on board, whether to link up with what is the theme of the name of the ship or otherwise, or just named after astronomers or artists, notable people from history. What do you guys think? What are the shuttlecraft on the, or at least this shuttlecraft on the Agamemnon? What is it named? Mycenae. Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Then you guys will be piling on to the Mycenae. Do you feel you need any other crew members, or will the three of you be sufficient?
Surely we want some sort of engineer in case we can try and get the power back online.
Yeah. The chief engineer will be happy to accompany.
And maybe on the other hand, I think it might be that we will take someone back. So,
good question. I wonder how many passengers your shuttlecraft fits. The shuttlecraft has 2 passengers. I imagine you could extend.
I think 4 might work, but I don't think that 15 might work or so.
Yeah, that's probably right. So 4, yeah. Because you're not really big inside, particularly if you want to bring people back. Okay. Any other preparations you guys need to make?
Nope. Only taking whatever medical supplies I'd normally take, you know.
Yeah. So standard away mission stuff. Each of you guys has your comm badge. Each of you has a Type 1 phaser. Each of you has a what do you call it? A tricorder of whatever, engineering, medical, or just standard issue tricorder. You also will have exosuits if the place has no power or no life support. Then there will be a concern with that. Anything else you guys would want to request?
Don't think so. Unless the chief engineer has got any ideas, anything that need to bring to help with the impulse engines. I'm guessing not.
I think it's an energy problem, and something is draining the energy. If we were to have something to stop something from draining the energy, that might be interesting, but I don't know what that would be.
What? So there's a double checking something here. Okay, environmental suits are in the tech here. There is a secondary device that is like a it augments or assists in the lock-on needed for transporters.
Oh yes.
So if you're thinking about how to evacuate, the crew is there and you can't get the thing out, rather than bringing people out individually, it could affect the transporter rescue. It will require the Agamemnon moving in, but the Agamemnon has 4 personnel transporters as well as 3 emergency transporters. So that's 7. That's like 10 or 12, I guess, rounds of transporters to bring a full crew of 80 off, right? 11 rounds.
Yep. So let's bring that signal booster. Yep.
Okay.
Excellent.
There's a name for it that I can't remember what it's called right now.
Yeah. Do we have only one shuttle on board? I mean, we could work in parallel, maybe.
Pattern enhancer.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Is there only one shuttle on board? So if we had two, we could maybe work in parallel.
Good question.
They normally have a few, I think.
Yeah.
And
So, but I mean, let's first get there, and then we still have plenty of time to do the rescue mission with a bunch of shuttles.
Yeah. Well, and the difficulty is also the navigating there is going to be really tricky. So, running rescue missions back and forth. It's neat. The Star Trek Adventures 2 does have a listing of how many shuttles each vessel has, but this one doesn't. At least that I can see. Then, guys, we're already at our mid-session break. So, why don't we take our mid-session break now, and then we will come back and try and navigate the Mara Skura and see what you guys can find. I'll put a picture of... There we go. It's small because it's so far off, guys. That is... Right, then, for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay. Hey, everybody at home. Hope you are having a wonderful Sunday. And happy Easter to those who celebrate. All right. And I've got, you know what? I've got my Starships of the Galaxy book up here. Let me grab that, maybe. Okay. I grabbed my Utopia Planitia book. So that may have Miranda. Here we go, 134. Here we go. Ooh, extensive shuttle bays.
Unfortunately, only one was left. The other ones were. Yeah.
It's just good to know what resources. Like one of the things with these kind of pretend settings, right? Is knowing what the parameters of the setting are. It's honestly like I find myself like umming and awing and kind of humming and hawing and whatnot a lot more when I'm running Star Trek or Star Wars, because I constantly want to be thinking like, okay, is this violating the canon, or is this like trying to make sure that whatever, it's not like a setting where I can just make up whatever shit I want, like Paradar, where it's like, oh, it's this.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I remember that they had this Die Hard kind of episode where the Enterprise had to be decontaminated and everyone had to. So, and I think they lost all scientific believability or whatever. And so it was just.
That episode has one of the funny things, because it's when they're talking about the ship being decontaminated, and Picard finds out that there's horseback riding on the thing, and he's like, horses. And he's like, oh, there's no one around in this thing? No one goes to that area? Perfect. I'm going to go get my saddle. Because the rest of the crew is like, you have your own saddle? And he's like, well, yeah, every serious rider does. So like, you have a saddle on a starship, okay? Go get your saddle, Captain. Oh, boy. Okay, so I'm just checking here. And an extensive, I think it's like one shuttlecraft per size in this game, in Star Trek Adventures. And then it also has extensive shuttle bays.
Which is twice as many.
Yeah, okay, so...
So we are sending out a fleet of shuttles there. So.
Okay, so the difficulty is you don't have unlimited crew is the thing, and risking that many people going in. The Enterprise is equipped with some of the finest and highest, most experienced and trained members of Starfleet, and yet they still had a hell of a time getting themselves out of the Mars Skira, having a relatively junior crew like what we have on the Agamemnon going out there.
It's the GM making cracks about the crew of the Agamemnon.
Little bit. How much XP do you guys have? Right, let's see here. Well, doesn't matter. So it seems like somewhere between 4 and 8 shuttlecraft will be on board the ship as well, in all likelihood. All right, then, what are you guys doing? If anything, before you guys set out, you've got your. Oh, I was going to find a picture for your. Let me see if I've got. I know. I'm checking Anna. Hold on. Anna Banana is up. I have a Stasi officer. Probably not the one I'm looking for.
Seems to be a little bit out of context, but
I don't know. Is that what is it? Not Minos. What was the Nazi planet from the original series?
I've never seen that episode.
I don't think it would be permitted. Yeah, 1960s. I think local or your local broadcast laws, right, would have prevented it.
Yeah. You couldn't broadcast that. Yeah.
Hey, you're not missing much. It's the clumsiest, like ham-fisted attempt at explaining why, All right, let's see here. I'm trying to think what I would have named. I have a lot of truck-related stuff here. Okay, I don't have a illustration for you. Ooh, wait. Guys, I stand corrected. Hold up. What do we think? How about a Denobulin engineer, chief engineer?
Ooh.
I think it's Denobulin, but there you go. There you go, Lieutenant Drox. Should I put it in a red shirt, guys, just to freak people out, or doctor?
No,
like
the good doctor's already wearing that.
Yeah. All right. So then, guys, Lieutenant Drox is on board. The bunch of you depart the shuttle bay of the Agamemnon. Give you an illustration of that as well. I forgot there's a whole series of tokens from the Star Trek Adventures starter set that I could have been using. Killing myself trying to find image references for this bloody game. So, genuinely, I think I mentioned this before.
Yes, isn't she beautiful?
Mm-hmm. Here you go. Is there 2 M's in Agamemnon? The 2 sequential ones?
Yeah.
Is that right, or should be like 2 M's in the first?
Wait a minute. Agamemnon. That's how I would spell him.
Yeah, so there we go. That's right. Okay. Then, the Agamemnon is staying on the exterior of the Mars Skura, and our doomed shuttlecraft, our normal shuttlecraft, totally going to be fine. Shuttlecraft, it'll be going in. As the flight control officer, Lieutenant Shran, would you give us a 1d6 plus 2 roll, please?
That's how many medals we get, right?
Uh-huh. So the roll was to see how many flight control checks you need to succeed before you reach the Tenebrae.
Well, we'll be here till Christmas.
Okay, so first up is... All right, let's set the difficulty here. Base difficulty is a 4, and traveling it at a half impulse is going to be 5, and that's it. No other modifiers because it's a size 1 vehicle. So, would you care to give us your first check there, Lieutenant? Excellent. Okay, so first one is down. Number 2. What's your halfway? I'll let you get a scan off too. Success. Number 3. Let's spend 1 courage.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. And oh, hold on, you didn't roll all 1s, did you? That one?
Nope.
Oof,
No.
close.
I got the 2.
And then number 3. Oh, no, number 4. Sorry, this is 4. There you go. All right. The trip through here is...
So
you would...
is that an 14?
Yeah, that's a 14.
Oh, nice. Which would beat it by 6. That's a dramatic success. So let's give... You've managed to position yourself in the perfect location within the sort of all the... I guess first of all, let me tell you about going through here. We've seen, in the media where the shuttlecraft is going down in either, storm conditions or electromagnetic interference or whatever, where it's all, shaking and going through a great deal of turbulence. That is very much, it's like that sporadically. Whenever you get close to one of the subspace gaps, there's a bit of a amount of turbulence that the inertial dampeners cannot compensate for. So you sort of shake, and then it goes back to absolutely smooth flying. It is after about an hour and a half of these. It must be like, submarine warfare where depth charges are going off nearby. When Lieutenant Shren, you've managed to position yourself in a position, I'm using position twice in a sentence. You've managed to fly yourself into a position where not only will you have a clear line of, to be able to conduct an effective scan on the Tenebrae, you'll also have clear communications back to the Agamemnon. And as expected, the deeper you get in here, there are places where you're just losing direct comms with the Agamemnon. You get to your halfway point, and I'm assuming you're going to check in with Captain Kalamak as well.
Yep.
You've made it halfway. Any problems thus far, Lieutenant?
All going swimmingly, Captain.
Good. Proceed with the scan, Lieutenant Golwalk.
Mm-hmm.
And report back when you have results.
So this is shipboard systems.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Huge roll. Wow.
That's a 10 again. Yep.
Hey. A reminder that the Tenebrae has a crew of 80.
Mm-hmm.
There is no power, including power to the life support systems, including backup to the life support systems. Something has gone very wrong with the Tenebrae. There are 3 faint life signs that you can pick up, and all 3 are on the bridge. They are unfortunately not steady enough that you'll be able to. The pattern enhancers that you brought along would be necessary even for short-range transporters, because the disruption from whether it's the neutron star, the nebula, or a combination of the two, there's no way you're gonna be able to get a proper transporter lock on them.
So, no energy, no life support, no backup life support on the Tenebrae. Only 3 weak life signs at the moment.
Doctor, can you tell if they're alive? You can give us a shipboard systems medical.
Okay.
It's a good roll. They're alive, or at least there is some limited brain function, but they're dying effectively.
Well, yeah, we need to get on as quick as possible to give them any chance of survival.
Lieutenant Shran, do you think you can go for full impulse? That would increase the difficulty. Excuse me, to 12.
If someone can help me with the controls on this, perhaps.
This isn't something where you can have 2 people help.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I guess we can try. It's a bit of a long shot, but give it a shot.
So it'll be a 6 you're going for at full impulse, and that will cut down the number of rolls that you have to make in half. Only 2 more. Okay.
I have to use a point then.
All right. You are very quickly approaching the Tenebrae. You kind of skirt the edge of one of the subspace disturbances. You give us your final check. It's the last approach to there. Look at that. How do you want to board the Tenebrae? Now that you're this close, you can transport. Lieutenant Drox will want to go to engineering, but other viable locations might be medical. If there was any kind of medical emergency, there may be people there at the bridge, and then of course engineering.
Okay. So, but we can't transport, so we need to dock.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you do. Yeah.
So they have no energy, so that might be a little bit more involved than it usually is.
Lieutenant Drox suggests that if she could access the Tenebrae, there's 2 ways. You could try and access the Tenebrae's shuttle bay. Small as the vessel may be, it's still going to have at least room for some to go in.
Yeah.
The challenge there is that if there's no power to the system, there's going to be no power to the force fields that would normally prevent explosive decompression. And if there still is an atmosphere in the shuttle bay, opening the shuttle bay doors is going to cause whatever's in there to be blown out.
Yeah.
So are there any access ports near the bridge?
There would be, yeah.
Get near. Let's try and get near the bridge, and we'll have to put on our EVA suits, which presumably are in the shuttle.
Okay. Yeah. Are you leaving anyone on the shuttle? Or are you bringing everyone with you? I'm assuming you can't.
Sorry. I don't know if I do that routinely, but I would check for any kind of I mean, are we losing energy right now?
Oh, good question. First thing, you guys have reached the Tenebrae. Everyone give us a 1d4 roll. So much courage you'll get back. Ingolf, are you sure you're playing this right? Because I seem to remember you only rolling 1s last time.
Yes. I've grown now, yeah.
All right. So, why don't you give us a, I guess that would be probably shipboard systems. Civil systems engineering. Ooh, no, it's propulsion systems. Dealer's choice, either systems engineering or shipboard systems.
I would take shipboard systems, but...
You got it. No. You can pick up the same pulses of radiation that are coming from the neutron star that was otherwise reported in Agamemnon's last update. There's the presence of the subspace disturbances or the subspace gaps, there isn't any drain on your power systems whatsoever.
Yeah.
In fact, your shields are maintaining just fine.
Okay. Okay. Let's hope. I mean, yeah.
The other theory, Golwak, is simply the O-berths are shit. And that's what the problem is. They always go wrong.
No, bullshit. So, I mean...
It's a Lady Macbeth of Starfleet vessels.
Yeah. I don't know. So, I mean, I would be willing, or maybe I should just do it, and even if it doesn't change the result, I would just spend 2 courage to make it a 10 to be sure that I'm not missing something there.
Oh, no. You would. You don't need to do that. You'd be confident. Yeah, like if there was an opportunity to try and learn mechanically, if there was an opportunity to do that, I'd give you the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You don't need to like if you're thinking that that's like Golwak sort of like double checking, triple checking kind of stuff. We can assume he's done that with that result. That's a really good result.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Then what are you guys thinking? If you do try and check in with the Agamemnon, no cons. So something is either disrupting or blocking the communications. What do you guys do then? Everyone's going on the bridge, and is everyone staying together? Are you splitting up?
I think we should stay together at the moment.
Yep. If we can firmly lock on the shuttle to the hatch, then let's all go.
Yep. No problem. Then there's the 4 of you will all kind of collect at the back. There's the force field it's activated to prevent decompression. The back half of the shuttle is cycled, and you guys are able to step out and onto the surface of the Tenebrae. It's gotta be a very weird feeling, even those of you who are experienced in spacewalks. I have no idea whether that is a mandatory part of Starfleet training, is indulging in a spacewalk, but if your familiarity with it is being out and in the blackness of space and still having those motes of light up in the sky, imagine what it's like to step out and see what you see in the illustration, where there is this swirling blackness, and then the only thing you can see is this tiny flickering neutron star ready to collapse into a black hole. Who's the first one onto the Tenebrae?
I think I'd certainly be in a rush to get to the bridge.
Okay.
So if I'm not first, I'll be definitely second and trying to push past to run to the bridge.
I guess, Shran, you've got... you're the first officer, so you would have...
Yeah, I'd probably... Being Shran, he would try and go first in case there was danger.
Okay.
I'll clear the way, Doctor.
The access hatch is opened, and you're able to manually gain access to one of the things. Doctor is the next one down. Lieutenant Drox just gestures to you. Please, Lieutenant.
Yeah, I'm doing. Yeah.
4 of you go in. The thing is closed. There is no power, so there is no way to automate the atmospheric cycling. Although I guess the local life support is down anyway. Lieutenant Golwak, why don't you give us a systems or a shipboard systems check? And Doctor, would you mind giving us a 3d6 roll, please? Huge roll there. Dice are on fire today in golf.
Yeah, it's It's a shame I don't play Shadowrun right now. All these sixes.
Really? I mean, that's always true, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what you Lieutenant Drox helps you out with this. There is a manual override that will allow you to pressurize the little access hatch that you're in, and then gain access to the rest of the vessel. You're having to manually open and unlock these things as you're going into. None of the doors are sliding, so you're going to have to manually pry those open. But it's like stepping aboard a decommissioned vessel. And I think your first thing you would see when you step in, Doctor, is bodies that seem to have just fallen on the ground. Some have emergency life support masks on, but others do not.
And can I very quickly check if, like, the emergency, like, life support has run out, or if it's something else that's caused it?
If you check these individuals, your medical tricorder comes out. You don't need to make a roll for it. It is suffocation.
Yeah, so
These folks ran out of air.
well, I would start running towards the bridge.
When you reach the bridge, and this is, I imagine, a little... There's a couple things that would be familiar about this, because the Oberon, or... It's not the Oberon class, is it? Why am I'm second guessing it now. Oberth, isn't it? It's the Oberth class.
Oberth, yeah. Oberth class.
I said Oberon earlier and it got stuck in my head. The Oberth class is a contemporary. It's a newer design than what the Miranda class is, but it's still of that era. So running around the corridors here, trying to make your way to the bridge, would be similar to being on your own vessel, only no power. You're having to actually crawl up. You're not able to crawl up the Jeffries tubes in order to access the bridge, as opposed to going up the turbo lift. The bridge of the Tenebrae is, if you want to picture in your mind's eye, a bridge from the era of the original Cruise movies, the movie era. Mm-hmm. So not something that is more sleek and carpeted the way that the Next Generation era ships are. Something more, I think James might say, classic, as is the case with the Agamemnon. And there are more dead individuals you find in here. There are 3 who still have faint life signs, and those 3 are Captain Pitt, the chief medical officer of the Tenebrae, Dr. Winters, and a Boldian.
My brother, no.
I'll put the names on the tokens so you guys can see. It's Lieutenant Wiv Siri. I'm assuming you guys have taken a look at the bridge crew, at least. I think, am I on the right one or am I on the wrong one? I'm on the wrong one. There we go. Go. And there we are. You guys can see the names on each of those?
Yep.
All right, Doctor, would you give us I think it's personal equipment. Okay, a couple things you can do here. You could give us a personal equipment medical tricorders check, and then we'll the outcome of that. Yeah, it's an 8. And then would you give us, so you got to scan, they are just barely alive. Like everyone else, if you're quickly inspecting anyone else running a tricorder scan over any of the other fallen crew members of the Tenebrae, will be able to tell that it's suffocation. It's the same story, unfortunately, over and over again. You are conducting a more in-depth scan with your medical tricorder, Doctor. And these 3 are the only barely surviving ones still with the face masks on. Why that is the case is not clear, at least, but you can give us a medical sciences check as well. 8, really good. Here's something curious. All 3 of these, 2 humans, incidentally, and 1 Bolian, they have unusual brain activity.
But
Lieutenant
nothing
Drox,
picked up by the tricorder other than that.
No. While you're doing that, Lieutenant Drox is setting up the pattern enhancers. Goldwalk and Shran, what are you guys doing in the interim?
Just to make sure. So they were about, I don't know, 20 hours without power.
They should not be out of power at this point. With the speed you guys came, they should have had plenty of even if they lost all power, there would have been 24
that's
hours.
What I thought. So even if they had only evac suits or something, they would still be alive in them.
Everyone, you should have arrived in time to save the entire crew. Something has gone wrong here.
Let me then Tran will go look at the tactical display and also check the clocks.
Okay. So the tactical display gives you access to the most recent bridge log.
Yep.
And it appears
that
Lieutenant, just double check this here. So it's someone who has passed on for this, but if you check the tactical display, what you see is a normal scene of work on the bridge, and it's got to be eerie. Oh, hold up. There's no power. There's no power, so how are you going to access it?
Good point.
I think we can assume that expecting that there was going to be no power here, that Lieutenant Drox would have brought along whatever the Federation equivalent of an emergency Jenny would be. So to hook that up and then to have temporary, basically it would only allow you to access certain power systems because they're drawing from the Jenny as opposed to the engineering. She wants to check out engineering as well, but if your priority is to get these people into a breathable atmosphere, she can set up the pattern enhancers and then transport the Doctor and these 3 over to the shuttlecraft.
But I think there must be one of us with them, so to monitor them. Because I don't think that there will be... There must be some outer influence here as well, so...
So sorry, someone to go along with the Doctor, you mean, or?
I was just thinking that whatever happened to those 3 and the other rest of the crew, it would be unwise to have only them on our shuttle.
Well, I was assuming the Doctor was going to go with them.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't.
Yeah, I'd definitely go with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when did they lose power? Can we tell that from the records that we access?
Well, first things first. Again, you only have one. You have a limited amount of things to do right now. Lieutenant Drox is the one who's setting up the pattern enhancers. Doctor, anything further you want to do here? Anything further you want to scan? Any questions you have about the results you've got so far?
I mean, all it's shown me is the suffocation and this weird brain activity. So what is that, like some sort of dreaming state, or can I tell?
If you want to spend 2 courage, I'll give you a little further information.
Yeah, I'll do that.
The commonalities you're seeing across the brain activities of the captain, the doctor, and Lieutenant Shuri is not something you would typically see. It's not a comatose state. It's not a state of like seizure, and it is not something that you would see as a common outcome across species. Bolians, unsurprisingly, have, while similar in many ways to humans and Vulcans and Tellarites and whatever, they are their own species and have their own sort of particular physiological arrangements. The commonalities that you've seen here, this would be the first time that that's ever been recorded. Whether that means that they're responding to a specific stimuli or exposure, and it's causing this similar reaction across the 2 species. But it is most certainly a common amount of brain activity that is unlike anything you've seen documented, and certainly not something that you see common among these 2 species.
So I guess the only other thing I'd be doing is, while like impatiently waiting for this guy to set up the sort of beaming boosters or whatever it is to get him onto the shuttle, I'll be just checking for discoloration on the skin or any sort of puncture, sort of wound, anything that might make any sense of why it's been accelerated almost, or why they've got this weird brain activity, or anything that stands out. Common, okay. So
while Captain Pitt seems to have collapsed in her captain's chair, no bruising, no markings or whatnot, no contusions, no punctures, no lacerations. There's nothing to suggest anything other than suffocation. Dr. Winters is on the deck, but there's no bruising, there's nothing, no contusions, nothing to suggest that he fell, and like no abrasions where his head hit up against the thing. It's as if he lay down where he fell. Lieutenant Shuri does have bruising. You're not a forensic investigator, but a reasonable inference is that he collapsed at his station. And Lieutenant Shuri is, I got the wrong color actually for his outfit, sorry, but he's actually a science officer. He was the science officer of the Tenebrae. It's series reports, Galwak, that you've been reviewing.
So it looks like he's knocked his head or something as he's fallen over, or collapsed, sort of thing.
You've seen that among some others. Like, as a testament to the dedication of a Starfleet crew, some of these people died at their station. Shuri seems to have collapsed and is now on the verge of death at his station. Winters seems to have set himself down on, or collapsed in a very fortuitous way such that he didn't suffer any minor things. And it's not like Shuri's got like a giant head wound or anything. There's just enough bruising on the body. You could tell that it's someone who lost consciousness and fell without anybody catching him.
And can I tell why these 3 have survived longer than the others? Have they got these emergency life support things?
Is an interesting question. There's nothing you can tell.
Are they still wearing like the face masks? And
they're still wearing it, but several others whose things ran out did that. So why these survived when the others did not? Unknown.
Yeah. I'll tell the others I'm suspicious of the circumstances, but, we've got to get them on the shuttle regardless. We can try and work that out afterwards.
It's difficult to tell from the brain activity that you're seeing in these three when they would awaken, but like physiologically, they're on the verge of they should not be able to be awakened for quite some time. They're all suffering from the various symptoms of whatever's hypoxia. I think it's the loss of oxygen. Those episodes of Law and Order are paying off. Then Lieutenant Drox says, "We're ready, sir." To Lieutenant Shran.
Right. So let us try and send a signal then to the...
Well, if the Agamemnon is...
Yeah, Agamemnon would have to get closer. So
yeah.
Then let us try and access the ships.
Well, remember, the reason you're setting up the pattern enhancers is to transport them to the shuttle where you have atmosphere.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Doctor?
Well, we'll need to...
Yeah. If he hasn't already done it, I'll be getting on him and saying, "Press the button, man, get him on the shuttle."
Would you also, Doctor, would you give us a receptive telepathy check, please?
Oi, oi.
Now, that's interesting. You could spend 3 courage to make that a 10.
I have already spent it.
Thanks. Okay, let me tell you what you find here. Pretty funny if now is when the Lovecraftian twist comes in, guys.
Yeah.
Because I was reading that Arkham book yesterday too. There was a moment I'm like, do we do it? No, probably not. That's not. If you're signing up for Star Trek, you're not going to want to have Lovecraft delivered on a platter.
I'm sure there'll be a Kickstarter for a Lovecraft Star Trek game soon.
I mean, I'm back in that day one, but... All right, so...
Yeah.
What you can tell... what do you think it feels like when Adis brushes up against something that is a mind, but not one with which he is familiar, not something with a thought pattern that he could recognize? Is it painful? Is it disquieting? Is it nauseating? Is it just kind of a dazzling?
I think it's just overwhelming because it's like it's coming from all directions and sort of don't know how to sort of navigate.
Yeah.
So it's sort of where am I meant to be looking, and it's sort of all coming in different directions. It's just a bit overwhelming. It sort of all comes at once. So,
Shran, when the doctor gets up to say to Dr. Lieutenant Drox that, come on, man, hit the... You then see him sort of stagger and almost lose his... or have his knees go out. Shran? Did you hear what we said?
Yeah, could you say again?
Well, Doctor, why don't you describe for us what he sees?
So yeah, he's trying to hurry up the engineer to get him on board, and then I think he sort of holds his head temporarily, and he sort of loses his balance and sort of drops to one knee, or he looks like, definitely affected by something. Doesn't say anything immediately, but
I shall jump forward then.
Okay, so you catch the doctor.
Try and catch him.
So is it the? I assume it's not the humans that's giving him
No.
it, or is it any of them? Is it all of them that's giving him this weird effect?
Whatever their brain activity is, has just you've brushed up against something.
But it's all of them. It's not.
All of them.
Oh, right. Okay, so it's just sort of almost alien in nature and never encountered it before. I think he would just sort of snap out of it, sort of instinctively, sort of defensively, sort of break the connection.
Yeah.
And there's something seriously wrong going on inside their heads. Something's affecting them. I had a temporary telepathic connection, but oof.
So Lieutenant Drox says, I'll get to powering those logs right away, sir. She goes over and begins preparing the power to the logs.
I would scan our doctor's suit for energy loss, because I'm not convinced that this is only. I'm at the fear that our evacs would show the same signs of failure than the other ones did.
Yeah, give us a personal equipment tricorder, please.
Personal equipment. Yeah, I have no tricorder. I've only, but it's 7.
Yeah, 7. Good roll. As far as you can tell, the suit is carrying the amount of power it should for the amount of time you've been gone. There's been no power loss. There's no reported failures in the what do you call it? The integrity of the suit whatsoever.
And can I scan the 3 just to see if not medically, because the doctor's already done that, but if there's any weird energy patterns off them, electrical or anything unusual like that.
Give us a personal equipment tricorder check, please.
Got that. Where is he hiding? There he is.
As far as you can tell, nothing unusual, no residual, but they're not carrying a radioactive charge. They're not emitting any unusual energy. There's not a field around them. Now that you've doctor's tricorder has pointed out, though, you can definitely pick up the same unusual brain activities, and it would be like I'm trying to think of a physiological comparison. It'd be like the Klingons have the Brachlol. They've got the secondary circulatory system to try and, keep if they lose one or one is damaged, they can keep on fighting. So imagine trying to take a Klingon's heartbeat and a human's heartbeat, and it would be vastly different. This is a kind of commonality in brain patterns between two species that really should not exist, at least not in a consistent and reliable manner. There is no physiological
possessed
damage.
By some third species, Doctor?
Unknown, but we won't find out unless we keep him alive. So, again, push him to teleport us onto the shuttle. I can do more research there while you investigate the rest of the ship and the logs.
Lieutenant?
Yeah, then indeed.
Okay, engage.
I go do it. Yep.
There's a shimmering as the doctor and the 3 survivors of the doomed Tenebrae are beamed over to the shuttlecraft, to the Mycenae. Lieutenant Drox is going to take probably about, I'm going to say an hour at default, but let's see how he does. Why doesn't, Shran, why don't you give us a 3d6 roll, please? of a skill of 4, so 3d6 plus 4, but and we'll treat the first one as the drama die. Nice! Alright, so that's 9. I think he's going to cut it down to half an hour. So it'll be a half hour for him to get the, whatever it is, the emergency Jenny set up to give power to the bridgeboard systems, and you'll be able to access the logs there. Anything you two wish to do in the interim? Lieutenant Golwalk and Lieutenant Shran.
How far is it to the nearest shuttle bay? Can I do it in half an hour?
You'd probably, yeah, you would. The only reason I'm like normally it would definitely be something doable because it's only the whole vessel itself is like 180 meters long. So getting anywhere there would be no problem. But you're having to pry open every door, crawl through Jeff's tubes. If you hustled, you could probably get there and get back in a half hour. What are you thinking?
I would say, Shren, I'd like to check why no one used the shuttles to get out, or if someone tried.
Please go. I get the impression, though, Golwak, that this was the loss of power and the loss of environment must have been almost instantaneous.
Yes.
No decompression.
Yes, but please
search. Please search.
Yeah.
Okay.
My idea would be that these are it must have been multiple attacks then in short thing, because these are completely separated powers in a way. So each shuttle should be and each its own unit and not be able to be drained at the same moment than the ship in principle, at least.
Yeah. No, you're right in thinking that they would have. They're not linked to the ship. You don't have to plug them in when they're on the, ship to be able to take them out again.
That's, the EV shuttles. Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless there's some sort of EMP or something, or the equivalent that. Not
and that's
everything
like
out in one go.
The engines.
It's interesting though if we're able to reconnect to the fact that the transporters worked and that we're soon going to have power to think it isn't an EMP burst then, because it didn't fry the circuits.
You use the transporters on the shuttle to teleport or to transport the survivors and Dr. All Aidis over. Mm-hmm. Dr. Derex, I guess. So when what we'll do then is Lieutenant Golwalk, give us a athletics check then.
Yeah,
do you actually have a specialty in climbing?
In running.
In running, perfect. Yeah, you can apply that.
Yeah, so it's 8.
7. Yeah, you're definitely. So you'll have time to fuck around in the shuttle bay. So we can imagine you're in your EV suit racing through the corridors and making your way over. While that leaves you and Lieutenant Drox on the bridge, Lieutenant Shran, what if anything do you wish to do?
I think I'm just waiting for this power to come on, because I want to find out when did the power go off.
Then it will be Lieutenant Golwalk who, after about 15 minutes of navigating through the various corridors and whatnot, you're able to get yourself in. We'd see the darkened shuttle bay with just a little bit of light coming through as you're kind of turning the crank to get the shuttle bay, the access doors into the shuttle bay open, and the light from your EV suit would be illuminating this place. You have been passing corpses your entire way along here, too. When you reach the shuttle bay, you go into the wide, blackened interior. It probably only accommodates maybe 2 shuttlecraft.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the size. If it's a size 3, like if the Miranda class has double the size and accommodates 8, probably means the Tenebrae only has 2. Both shuttles are in their bays.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I guess, I mean, if I just scan, they would be out of energy.
Give us a personal equipment tricorder check, please.
So it's a 6.
6. Give us 1 courage, and I'll give you some extra information.
Yeah, and then I will give you 1 courage.
Okay. So I'm just going to double check something about the Type 6 shuttle. Here we go. So the Type 6 shuttle is capable of both warp and impulsion, but it has a shared power source, just like the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And as he suspected, the power source, the propulsion, the thing that would drive both of these shuttles, completely drained.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't even know if the scanner can do this, but there seems to be no physical harm to the shuttle as such. So it seems like...
Has it lost its fuel? He'll say through his comms badge.
Yeah. So there's a bit of static over the comm badge, which should not be there. You're able to communicate within the thing, but even from the bridge to the shuttle bay, a matter of, like, at most, like 70 meters, there's that kind of horror movie static on it.
I think we should. Yeah.
What has happened? It seems as if, like, in a matter of minutes, these things were suddenly drained. They suddenly lost. I shouldn't say drained is suggesting a cause for it. What can be truly said is that it lost its power in the span of minutes.
No.
So engineers with the proper tools and materials, things that would be aboard the Agamemnon, can repair any of these systems, but you also must supply the ship with antimatter to create a fusion reaction. Normally, start a warp drive takes 3 to 5 hours. Inventive engineers could do that, but it's a difficulty 12 extended test in order to get that going.
Yeah. So, but I mean, in a way, the traces of antimatter are, I don't know, they aren't there. Basically, the antimatter is gone.
Completely gone.
The fuel's been stolen.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah. So I'd run back with this information.
Yeah.
And maybe I communicate that every bit of antimatter has gone from the shuttles.
And presumably from the main engines.
Yeah, but I wasn't there, so I can't tell.
No.
Lieutenant Drock says we could confirm that in engineering, sir.
Let's do that.
So, because of his great role, Lieutenant Galwak is able to get back in time for... incidentally, Doctor, your patients, once they're exposed, they seem to be... They're not on the road to recovery, but the exposure to this environment and your administration of some emergency medicine will be stabilizing them. They do not appear to be at risk of death, but the unusual brain patterns remain, and that nagging feeling, like you're almost reluctant to touch them because of that telepathic contact that you brushed up against.
Yeah, I'll continue to do every scan that I can think of, and anything that's on the shell that might not be on my tricorder that might give me a little bit more information, and yeah, especially surrounding the brain activity and their sort of general functionality, and what's going on. So yeah, I'll just spend all my time just trying to diagnose and search the computers for any sort of signs of anything that might relate to this.
I'll tell you one thing, that having discussed the previous report, or assuming you reviewed the incident report of the Enterprise, they didn't encounter anything like this when they were there.
Yeah.
So, Lieutenant Goldwalk is back in time for power to be restored to the bridge's systems. What do you want restored, Lieutenant, is what Drox would ask you. Is it simply computers? You want life support?
I think it will be the diagnostics on the engine room. Let's get the power, so we should be able to have logs from navigation. Well, there are controls on the bridge normally for the engine room.
Right, but if the controls are connected to a dead circuit or to a dead system, they're not going to be able to pull any current information. Historic information you'll have on the bridge, but until you restore power to the engineering section, which would require moving this down there, you're not going to necessarily get current status logs from engineering.
Well, if it's plugged in, let's just see what happened at the end. What does it tell us of what happened to the engines in the last minutes?
Yes, sir. You can picture the lights begin flickering on the console in front of you, Shran, and you are able to access the bridge logs if you like.
Right, yes, please. So, what can I say about the engines, the main engines, impulse engines, and...
Well, you said the last minutes. Do you wish to see the bridge crew? What happened on the bridge? Before power?
Yeah, okay.
So the bridge log recording shows a normal scene. You can see that Captain Pitt is here. You can see that Lieutenant Sri is here. Many of the bodies before you can see active, fully illuminated. And then Lieutenant Sri, the science officer, notes that the neutron star emits strange radiation fluctuations. Claims that there's some form of energy that seems to have been escaped from the neutron star and is heading straight for the ship. The captain orders shields raised, and there is, clearly from the reaction of the crew, a rocking of when whatever that was, the energy hits the shields. The captain orders local sensors or view of the shields, and what you can see is some kind of energy creature. There are dozens, if not hundreds of them, that are throwing themselves against the shields, trying to claw their way past. The shields drain in a matter of minutes, the tactical officer ticking off the loss in strength by percentages. Dr. Winters reaches the bridge during this emergency. He suggests keeping the energy beings away with tetrion pulses. Dr. Winters activates the particle emitter and reports that the process seems to work in fending off the creatures, and indeed, in the view, they recoil in pain. The bridge crew watches hopefully, but suddenly something begins to sap the ship's power supply. You witness the emergency call that Captain Pitt made, that the Agamemnon received, but it is interrupted as they fall to emergency power, and within seconds, the log ends, presumably as the ship's main power fails completely. Lieutenant Drox says, "There's nothing more, sir."
Right. I think we have our answer, Lieutenant Colwell.
Yeah.
Which suggests we need to get out of here and warn the Agamemnon.
Lieutenant, and Lieutenant Drox is looking around. If they're still here, why haven't we encountered them?
Quite possibly gone. But I don't think we want to bring the Agamemnon near to this. Too dangerous. I think we need to evacuate those survivors and get back to the Agamemnon and send a warning message as we go, so that they are forewarned and keep their senses up, and also are aware of the potential defense. But they should keep away. We shall just have to head to them as fast as we can before the star collapses. I think this ship is sadly lost. But we'll need to leave it to the captain to decide.
Lieutenant Drox agrees. Like, it's because you guys traveled here so quickly. You do have several days before the neutron star collapses, and it's 5-hour increments of this. Even if you figure three, like a result of 4 at a minimum on the rolls, it would 15 hours of work. They could get with antimatter from the Agamemnon, they could get the engines restored to the Tenebrae, but whether then you would need to navigate it out of here. But just to give you options, that is a possibility. It would require at full impulse, you'd be able to get back to the Agamemnon in an hour and a half. So it is possible, but you're not wrong that, like, the risk that comes with that, and then the crew that would need to be brought, the gear that would need to be brought.
Yeah, and then potentially these creatures come out again and bring down the Agamemnon.
You could check, because you have power to the bridge, you could check the science logs as well.
Yep, let's do that. Sounds good. Golwak, okay. Maybe you'd like to have a look.
Golwak, you want to give us another space sciences?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think I would at least put in 1 courage. I think maybe 2.
If you want to give us 3 more.
Yeah, then I would do 3.
What you find is when this collapsed about 7 or 8 hours ago, the most recent scans from Lieutenant Sri suggest imminent collapse of the star in exactly the time that was predicted. So another 2.5 days, give or take. Okay.
So I think the star is safe, but we can't be sure that it will not emit another flight of these kind of energy beings.
Lieutenant Shran, assuming you check the tactical on the Tenebrae.
Yeah, I'll check the security thing. If there's any signs of any creatures, that's exactly what I was thinking. So, oh, that was rubbish. I'll just leave it as rubbish. I want to.
No, that's actually not all you need is a 4.
Okay, so... I'll use 1 then, if that's all I need.
Oh no, your drama dice is a 4.
Oh right. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a weird display. Like, I think the way they display the results in this is unlike any other sheet that we use.
I look at the bottom and yeah. Okay, good. I'm keeping my.
Well, you can tell there was a phaser discharge at some point. Someone fired a phaser fired the phasers of the Tenebrae on something before they lost power. So whether they tried to shoot whatever was coming out of the neutron star, that appears to have been the way that it was modulated. Is the Tenebrae would have had the shields up at the time as well. Anything else you guys wish to do? Lieutenant Drox notes that if you are wanting to make use of the transporters, the pattern enhancers that he's got set up, you can transport from the bridge so long as you're here.
Yeah.
You can beam over to the Mycenae whenever you want.
Yeah, I think we would. I think we can copy the data onto our tricorders for later evaluation.
Yep.
Yeah. And I would say we should go. Because I consider it a very real possibility that these creatures come back. And I think our shuttle is more defenseless even than the big vessel was.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you've given power back to this too, the view screen would default back to that view of the flickering neutron star. So, with our lieutenants, plural, beaming back over to the Mycenae, I think that's where we'll have to end our session, guys. So I'll bring us back to our main screen here. And for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this expedition to the final frontier with another session of the Star Trek Next Generation RPG. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the adventure we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you're joining us late, this is an adventure called I think it's The Edge of Night from Planetary Adventures, one of the adventure source books that was published for the game before it went defunct. In addition, there's a link in the description of the video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to this game. No, we don't. We have to many of the games and campaigns we run on the channel, as well as assorted games, virtual tabletop chat, GM discussion. There's a terrific, helpful, knowledgeable, and friendly community over there. You're more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, like, for instance, the Star Trek The Next Generation game, which you cannot buy on PDF legally. There is also, if they don't have something in stock you're looking for, you can put it on a want list. It'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code Spring26DM. It's listed in the description down below. It'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more through the website. And if you make a purchase of, and if any $10 or more, that discount code will change as of May 1st, 2026. So if you're listening to this after that time, just come back to one of our more recent videos. We'll have the current discount code listed there. I'm telling you, man, last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart crew. So James, Darren, and Ingolf, thank you so much for joining me back in the Final Frontier and seeing the further adventures of our Starfleet Academy students. So thank you guys. For those listening at home, we will be back in Mythic Britain, ideally in 2 weeks' time. If not, we will be doing something else, whether that is Return to the Final Frontier or something else. We'll have to see. But until we see again, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that the crew of the USS Agamemnon are encountering. And until we see again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.